Welcome to the last of 3 lectures for Unit 9. In this final installment, we'll talk about water and alcohol. How often do we hear the saying, water, water everywhere, and not a drop to drink? Water has its own module in this unit of the text because of its importance to life. Humans can live longer without food than they can without water. Hydration is important for all ages of people. It makes sense to study minerals and water in the same unit because many minerals are in solution in the body's cell, the fluid between the cells, and the bodily fluids in general. Water has many functions in your body. It's a major solvent. It's a major component of blood, saliva, sweat, tears, mucus, and joint fluid, and it also helps transport and remove wastes. Early in our life, and depending on our weight and lean muscle mass, between 50 and 75% of our body is water weight and is contained in our body's fluid compartments. But as we age, the percentage of body weight from water declines to about 45% for the typical older adult. To survive, our cells must maintain proper hydration or water status, and this status requires a balance between the body's two major fluid compartments, intracellular fluid and extracellular fluid. Cells maintain proper hydration by controlling amounts of electrolytes in each of these compartments. The concentration of the electrolytes will determine the amount of fluid in each of these compartments. Our bodies strive to maintain equilibrium in the solutions that are both inside the cells and outside the cells at all times. An average healthy adult's total water intake from foods, beverages, and metabolic water sources is about 2.5 quarts per day. This includes not only plain water, but other beverages like tea and coffee, soda, and foods. Our body loses about 2.5 quarts of water in urine, exhaled air, feces, and sweat or perspiration each day. Any extra water we take in or do not use is excreted by our kidneys, which are the major regulators of the body's water content and ion concentrations. The amount of urine we produce is determined primarily by our total water intake. Our bodies also lose water and electrolytes, including sodium, potassium, and chloride, when we have vomiting, diarrhea, a fever, or a runny nose. This is why we need to drink a lot of water when we have a cold. And it's very important to rehydrate and replace electrolytes after we've had a bout of stomach flu. Sometimes our water intake and output are affected if we drink a lot of coffee or tea because they are both diuretics. Diuretics are substances that can stimulate the kidneys to form urine. Overuse of these substances can lead to too great a loss of water for us. It's important to remember that fluid is not only in the plain water or beverages we drink. Take a look at this slide that shows the percent water content of a variety of foods that range from lettuce and tomatoes to a slice of bread to a chicken breast. Did it ever occur to you that there's water in a slice of bread? Water intoxication can occur when an excessive amount of water is consumed in a very short time period or when kidneys have difficulty filtering water from the bloodstream. Signs and symptoms of water intoxication may include nausea and vomiting, headache, confusion, muscle spasms, weakness, and seizures. Healthy people rarely drink enough water to become intoxicated, but sometimes marathon runners who consume just plain water rather than electrolyte-infused liquids when they're competing may be at risk for water intoxication. Dehydration or dehydration occurs when the body's water content is too low. It can be a life-threatening condition if taken to extremes, such as if you exercise in very hot weather and you don't rehydrate regularly. You can track dehydration by weighing before and after exercise. 1 pound of weight loss represents 16 ounces of body fluid loss. Environmental conditions contribute to dehydration as well. If we lose 20% of our weight and body, we can lose consciousness and in some cases die. Perspiration is the body's way of cooling itself, but it also contributes to water loss. Alcohol is included in this unit because, number one, it's a liquid, it's water soluble, and it's a part of life for many people. But unlike minerals and water, alcohol provides us with kilocalories, or calories as I usually refer to them. While alcohol consumption can be safe, it can also create many social problems, as we know. Moreover, alcohol can be toxic to our bodies if consumed in large amounts in a short time. We see and hear stories of college students who have been binge drinking at a frat party or other event. They pass out and eventually die because their heart rate has slowed to a dangerous low and/or they've choked to death on their own vomit. These are true tragedies that can happen if we get caught up in the moment. Many of us, myself included, also have family members who are or have been seriously addicted to alcohol. That said, we can include alcohols in our lives if we are thoughtful about how and when we use it. For example, alcoholic beverages, especially wine, can be a part of food and culinary experiences. We can also study about alcohol as, for example, viticulture, the science of the cultivation, growing, and harvesting grapes, is an academic program that is offered in agricultural departments at universities around the country. Alcohol, or ethanol as it is sometimes called, is a mind-altering depressant drug that's often classified as a food. Each gram of alcohol provides 7 calories. Compare this to carbs and protein that provide us with 4 kilocalories per gram, and fats that provide us with 9 kilocalories per gram. Although alcohol supplies energy, it can cause damage to cells within the mitochondria and negatively impact the metabolism of the macronutrients. Beverages that contain alcohol also contain a lot of water. For example, beer is typically 3 to 6% alcohol by volume. Wines are 8 to 14% alcohol by volume. Malt liquors are about 7% alcohol per volume, and hard liquors such as whiskey and vodka are generally 40 to 50% alcohol per volume. Beer and wine also contain simple carbohydrates and small amounts of vitamins and minerals. However, spirits or hard liquors do not contain any macronutrients, vitamins, or minerals. Alcohol requires no digestion, and it readily passes into the bloodstream through the tissues that line the inside of the stomach and the small intestine. The presence of food in the stomach slows the organ's absorption of alcohol. The process of detoxification begins in the stomach, and it converts about 20% of the alcohol to less damaging compounds. But it's the liver that is responsible for metabolizing most alcohol. A standard drink is approximately 12 ounces of beer, 8 to 9 ounces of malt liquor, 5 ounces of wine, or 1.5 ounces of hard liquor. A standard drink supplies 13 to 14 grams of alcohol. So if we take a look at how many calories a standard drink will provide us, we calculate the calories from the alcohol, which is 13.5 times 7, and we come out with 94.5 calories. If we mix the drink with, say, 6 ounces of Coca-Cola, we add 64 calories, making the total calories in one drink about 160 calories. Total calories in 1 can of regular beer is about 150. So just considering caloric intake, an evening of having several drinks can add quite a lot of calories to our daily intake, And that's before we add in snacks, etc. It might be a good idea for us to review how drinkers are generally classified. Note that this differs between men and women. Moderate drinking for a man is 2 drinks per day, whereas for a woman, it's no more than 1 drink per day. Many people have an occasional drink, maybe once or twice a week, and they would probably be considered light drinkers. But binge drinkers are a different story. These are people who consume 5 or more drinks in a 2-hour period. This level of intake can create serious problems in terms of their own health and to society in general, especially if done on a regular basis. What do we mean by blood alcohol concentration, or BAC? Blood alcohol concentration is the estimated percentage of alcohol in the bloodstream. As of October 2019, a BAC of 0.08% was the legal limit for intoxication for motor vehicle operators. Many factors influence the rate at which a person becomes noticeably affected by his or her alcohol consumption. These factors include the amount and timing of alcohol consumption, how large a person we are, our body size and composition, if we eat food along with the alcohol, and also our prior drinking history. The liver has the capability of adjusting to the usual amount of alcohol that's been consumed and therefore metabolizes it more quickly over time. This increases a person's tolerance level. Someone who's not used to drinking will feel and exhibit the effects of the alcohol sooner than someone who is more used to drinking. It's really important that we talk about the health implications of alcohol consumption. For most of us, an occasional drink should not cause damage to our health. But that, of course, varies with the individual and their current health status. In terms of the individual, alcohol can contribute to esophageal and stomach disease and ulcer formation. It can also contribute to shrinkage of neurons or nervous cells in the brain. Because the liver is where most of alcohol is metabolized, excess alcohol consumption can contribute to fatty liver, hepatitis, cirrhosis, and cancer of the liver. In terms of alcohol's effect on society, statistics show that alcohol is responsible for 1 in 10 deaths of working-age Americans. The nutritional implications of alcohol include hypertension, obesity, dehydration, and in the case of heavy drinkers, malnutrition. Often, very heavy drinkers either forget they are hungry or they get their calories solely from alcohol. It's also important that we talk about why we should avoid alcohol during pregnancy. When a woman is pregnant, the developing embryo is exposed to alcohol when it circulates through her bloodstream. Since alcohol can cause damage early in the development of the fetus, women who are trying to get pregnant should seriously consider abstaining from alcohol. Consuming light to moderate amounts of alcohol raises HDL cholesterol levels and reduces blood levels of important blood clotting factors. In cases where mothers are moderate or heavy drinkers during pregnancy, exposure of alcohol to the fetus can result in fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, or FASD, or fetal alcohol syndrome, which is abbreviated as FAS. That's a more severe form of SASD. Fetal alcohol syndrome can cause lifelong physical and developmental issues for the child. Babies with fetal alcohol syndrome are usually small for their gestational age and have visible characteristics of the head, forehead, nose, jaw, eyes, ears, and lips as noted in the picture on the slide. They may also be born with heart defects, vision and hearing defects as well. Behavior problems may develop as they grow older. Finally, if you have challenges with alcohol intake, or you know someone who does, here are some places to get assistance. You can contact the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration's National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP. You can also visit the website of Alcoholics Anonymous at www.aa.org. This concludes our rather extensive unit on minerals, water, and alcohol. We covered a lot of subtopics. I hope the lectures have helped you with your understanding of the content. I'll see you for our next unit lectures on Unit 10.